Attention Royalty Airlines passengers. This is your captain, Tall John Shear speaking. I'd like to welcome you aboard flight HDTGM Last Looks. We'll begin our journey today at Corrections and Omissions International Airport and travel all the way to the reveal of next week's movie. In between, we'll stop for 2 brief layover breaks, unless you've upgraded to Stitcher Premium seats. Then you'll have a smooth, non-stop journey. Along the way, my co-pilot Jason Mantzoukas and I will be chatting about our favorite travel accessories, plus I'll share exclusive bonus content from our previous flight recording. If you look out the window to your left, you might even catch a glimpse of Lake Havasu. Anyway, I'll let our flight attendant Paul guide you through the rest of your journey. I hope you can sit back, relax, and enjoy today's in-flight entertainment, 2003's View from the Top.
This is the last look, but Paul's such a stand-up guy. He lets us all say goodbye to last week's film. See you later, gotta go. Cheerio, ta-ta, for now, farewell.
All right, thank you, Captain Tall John, for that intro. Who says we still don't care? We're doing bits in Last Looks for you. And a big shout out to Quinn for that theme song. Thank you to our producer, Scott, for coming up with that idea. And now, let me tell you this. We love your songs. We love them so much. If you have a song, send them to me at howdidthisgetmade@earwolf.com. Keep them short. You know the drill, people. Let's get into it. Last week, we talked at length about View from the Top, a movie that, according to Discord user Vinod S, should have had the tagline, The Mile Y Club. That's right, The Mile Y Club. All right, well, we had questions about View from the Top. I always want to say View at the Top. It's from the top. And, you know, we might have even missed a few things. Here's your chance to set us straight. Fact check us, if you will. It is now time for Corrections and Omissions.
Setting back the fiction in a whirl of contradictions. Digging up the ugly truth is our stated mission. Sorting through the stinking pile of our presuppositions brings us to the part we like to call corrections and omissions.
Thank you, Casey Campbell, for that great theme. Let's go to the Discord. In the scene where Gwyneth confronts Mike Myers about her promotion, there's an odd slow pan across the frame photos besides his model planes. And the photos show Mike Myers posing with Sammy Davis Jr., Marty Feldman, and Peter Falk. What do they all have in common? Eye problems. So I guess those are his heroes? Also, Myers apparently hasn't aged at all since he took those photos in the 60s or 70s, or maybe he is immortal. By the way, Subject 117, I like that he is immortal and he has to live with never being able to fly a plane. You bring up something interesting, which is this movie does not treat anyone with an eye issue with any respect. I mean, it is treated really aggressively like a joke, and putting Marty Feldman in there and Peter Falk, Sammy Davis Jr., all against their wishes. They didn't want to be in this movie. They didn't want their eyes to be part of comedy, but then they were. They did it all. Anyway, Birdie writes, I've been a flight attendant since 1996. My first manual for a small charter airline did have a weight chart dictating how much you could weigh for your height. During a training, we were told not to worry about it, and that rule was never enforced, as it was already a vestige of a prior error. I have heard stories from flight attendants that flew during that time that they would have to regularly weigh in at their headquarters and would get removed from the line if they were overweight. Hope this answers Jason's question. You know, interesting you brought that up. That is crazy. But also, what I will say is I have been on flights where they have moved around passengers like Jenga pieces to distribute the weight evenly on an airplane. That still is in the mix. I remember one time our flight got delayed from coming home and they put us on a small propeller plane, and it was all about weighing luggage and people, and I had to sit away from June. June had to sit up in the front. It was wild to see how much math was going on to just fly us across from one island to another, and we were scared shitless. Anyway, George Glass writes, I didn't understand the obvious solution to Gwyneth Paltrow's dilemma at the end. Why couldn't she just work for the first-class international routes out of Cleveland? I mean, they go out of their way to say it's an international airport. She could have easily have done her routes and still headed home to Cleveland during her turnaround. Also, isn't one of the perks of being a flight attendant getting free personal travel? In the 2 seconds I considered that career, that was the allure. I guess you would have free personal travel, but I don't know if you could fly other people or maybe I know that back in the day, Rob Hubel's dad was a pilot and he could fly his kids for free in the jump seats. I think they've gotten a little bit more strict with that, but I don't know if you could bring your whole family. You get personal travel. But yes, to your point, this movie makes no sense. The fact that she becomes a pilot is aggressively dumb. Anyway, let's go to the phones. Alex from L.A.
Hey, Paul. This is Alex from L.A. You're completely right about the small cheese pizza. I worked in a pizza place, and people who said that there's something wrong with them. I'm not sure what it is, but they are off. And I've asked before why they would say it, and they said because cheese isn't a guarantee. Nowhere did it say that the pizza would have cheese on it. Strange justification, but just thought maybe that would help from a former pizza slinger. That's it. Bye.
What are you talking about? Regular pie is a cheese pizza. If you're going to order something like a grandma pie, or you're going to order, one of these fancy pies, that's where you get into like, oh, maybe it's more of a red sauce based, but that's fancy. Regular pizza. Regular cheese pizza? I don't know. Now I'm all confused. One large pizza, please. That's all I would say. Pizza is guaranteed to have cheese on it. The amount of cheese is different. And that's where I'm going to take you to task. Because every pizza has cheese on it. Everyone. Besides the square grandma pie. Anyway, Jenna from Atlanta, what do you got?
Hi, Paul. This is Jenna from Atlanta. I had to pause the podcast, A View from the Top, just to answer this question because it seems so very important. Flight attendants at a certain airline that I work with, I create training for them. They have to have their hair pulled up above their shoulders. If they have longer hair, they have to be in a ponytail or a bun. And yes, the flight attendants, when they're even interviewing, do have their hair pulled up in a bun most of the time. Nobody has their hair down. You see it on campus all the time. Everybody's hair is up. So just wanted to give you that information. I love your show. Thank you so much. Love you, June. Bye.
Really? Wow. This is shocking. More details about what is going on in the flight attendant industry. We're talking about weighing and hair above the shoulders. I wonder, is that a safety issue? Jenna, you can't answer, but I'm going to ask that again to the world. This is Dan, a pilot from Georgia.
Hey, Paul, it's Dan calling from Georgia about A View from the Top. I have a little context for that last scene. It still doesn't make any sense, but I can tell you as a pilot myself, she says that she is flying for Royalty Express and not Royalty Airlines, which implies that she's flying for a regional airline. Royalty Express is probably a subsidiary airline owned by Royalty, which you can actually get rated to fly for less than 1,500 hours. And they might have bases in smaller cities, places like Cleveland, for pilots to originate their trips from. So there was a little bit of intentionality there, but I don't think it really landed. Anyway, love the show. First time, long time.
Okay, so it does make sense, but not. It looks like the flight that she is flying is like a big, like a John Travolta 747. That it doesn't seem like that's a small little one. But I get what you're saying. Like maybe it's like a mom and pop thing. Like, oh, you fly a little bit, you do. Like I know that the one time I was on a private jet, there was like a little bit of I am the flight attendant and I'm also the pilot. Like they did some dual duties, like at least the co-pilot did. I'm pretty sure about that. Anyway, we'll see. All right, let's take a phone call from Marcus from Niagara Falls.
Hey, Paul, it's Marcus from Niagara Falls, New York. I'm just calling because I noticed the soundtrack for View from the Top has a lot of songs that were familiar to everybody, but not by the original artist. You got Time After Time, not by Cyndi Lauper. You've got Celebration, not by Kool and the Gang. And you also have Don't Stop Believin' by a Journey cover band. I am surprised. And I'm a little let down that you didn't notice this one, Paul. All right, thanks. That's all. Bye.
Wait a second. What? I don't know how I missed that. How did I not know? Oh, wow. That bums me out. I mean, I know we talked about the song, but I didn't realize that they were all cover bands. Oh, brother, this movie gets better and better. Back to the Discord. All right, Mitch Kappa writes, I think it was a confusing choice to make Candice Bergen's character married to a rich builder. Was she so successful because she was the most famous flight attendant in the world, or was she married into money? Was the message the best you could hope for in that job was to meet a rich husband in first class? Well, by the way, that makes sense because being the most famous flight attendant in the world doesn't mean anything. That's not a thing. I'm sorry. Not even the most famous pilot in the world is a thing. Sully was that. And that's it. And he got that for saving people's lives, but it's not like he's like getting a salary bump. I think you're right. And I think this movie has weird morals. I think this movie was supposed to be a period piece. I'm almost confident of it. I've been thinking about this movie a lot, and I feel like this was supposed to be in an era, a bygone era. And then they realized, oh, you know what? That's too weird to do a period piece. It'd be too expensive. And they cheaped out, they updated it, and it doesn't make sense. Anyway, New Blue Goo writes, I have Estrotopia. It's the same type of, I'm going to mispronounce this, but strabismus eye disorder as Mike Myers' character. The movie's representation of how it affects a person was, not surprisingly, pretty bad. Yeah, thank you. Like when he'd point at one of his eyes and ask, oh no, is it this one? As if he didn't know which of his own eyes was turned inward. Or the way he would read stuff, which would give him double vision and some wonky depth perception. But he wouldn't need to stare at something super close from weird angles like he was doing. Also, it's a pretty correctable condition and not so debilitating as to keep someone from being a flight attendant. I wear glasses with a prism in one lens that forces the lazy eye straight, and I also had a surgery done to shorten one of the muscles in my eye. The only time where I related to Mike Myers' character was when he broke down about eye exams. Eye exams, eye exams. I hate eye exams too. Well, thank you, New Blue Goo, for giving us that perspective. Not that anyone was looking at Mike Myers as being a perfect representation of what Estrotopia is, but thank you for letting us know that it's not even based in any kind of research. Like, not even one iota. Maybe he would have a funny pair of glasses with a prism in it. You know, he could do that, but no, he didn't do anything besides, I'm going to cross my eye. That's my character choice. Anyway, Just Anna writes, did anyone else think that Gwyneth flying the plane at the end was not meant to be taken literally, but rather figuratively? Wait a second, Just Anna, what are you saying? Now she's the pilot of her own life. She's in control, and she has her co-pilot. Nothing else in the movie suggested she wants to be a pilot. It seems like an attempt to be quirky and uplifting rather than a plot choice. My gut is the ending tested flat. They needed something, so they threw in a cockpit and they had her turn back. Because if your point is right, then I believe her boyfriend / husband, I don't know what they decided to be, Mark Ruffalo, would be the co-pilot in that scenario. But he wasn't. And if he was, then I would buy your ending. All right. So many great questions and omissions this week, but I can only pick one. And that's the one that really opened my eyes, that really helped me understand something that I didn't know. And you know what? What are you going to get for this? What are you going to get for illuminating me and our audience? You're going to get a great song from Casey Campbell. And this week, the winner will be New Blue Goo. New Blue Goo, thank you for shutting down Mike Myers' representation of Estrotopia. And now you get to rock out to Casey Campbell's theme. Hit it!
You were the best thing that Paul heard today. So pat yourself on the back, 'cause that's all you're getting.
All right, if you want to submit a tagline like Vinod S. Submitted earlier in the episode, or you want to chime in with your own thoughts about this latest episode, hit up the Discord at discord.gg/HDTGM or call us at 619 Paul Ask. That's 619 Paul Ask. Coming up, Jason and I do a deep dive on our favorite travel gear. I mean, we're talking bags, people. We are talking bags. Plus, we're going to reveal next week's movie, and I will share an exclusive deleted scene from our View from the Top episode. So, stick around. You might have noticed that every week we are doing something that we like to call Matinee Monday, where we pull an old episode out of the vault and re-release it. Right now, you could be listening to Mannequin 2 on the Move with Steve Agee, which asks the most famous question, where does the butt start? And then next week, we're going back into the shop, the repair shop, because we're opening the hood on our Fast and Furious franchise as we prepare for Fast 10 by releasing Fast 7 with Adam Scott. So keep on checking out those replays of classic episodes every Monday. So we are doing something a little bit different this week on Just Chat. Normally, Jason and I just chat, but this week we decided to respond to some listeners calling in for advice. Seth Chatfield, play us in.
Is it this, or could it be that? A little swing of the cane, a little tip of that. No, it's Jason and Paul, just getting into it all in the segment that we call Just Chat. Yeah.
Jason, I'm excited to do something with you because here on Last Looks, what we've been doing in the past, and I know that when you hosted Last Looks, you did the same thing. We listen to some voicemails. We give people advice. And I thought we give a lot of great advice about shows to watch, things to listen to, but maybe it's time for you and I to give people some real life advice. And
let's fix people's lives.
Let's do it.
They need it.
They're ready for it.
The audience is falling apart.
Now, I haven't listened to these. Scott, went through all of our voicemails, picked a couple, and I'm just going to tell you that the titles of them are getting me excited.
Great. I'm not even reading the titles, so will you read them aloud?
Yes. Well, we will be hearing first from Chris in Pennsylvania, and the title is simply Luggage.
All right.
Hi, Paul. This is Chris. From PA. I went on a trip to a business conference last year, and all my luggage got destroyed. American Airlines or whoever they were, whatever, just destroyed. Inside completely blown out. I need new luggage. I'm going to the same conference this year. And I'm shopping around and I thought, hey, maybe I could ask you and Jason, since you guys love your bags so much, for some advice. Just looking for some basic luggage advice for flying that'll, survive. Have a good one.
All right. First of all, Jason, he came to the right place. I'm going to say this. Thank God American Airlines is not a sponsor of the show.
Yeah.
I don't know how I've never had that happen. Destroyed.
He said got destroyed.
And said it like, well, I was just one of the unlucky people. Like, that doesn't happen.
Like he came down to the luggage carousel and it was just like all of his clothes and everything was just spread all over the floor of destroyed?
Do you remember there was a commercial when I was a kid? I think it was for American Tourister luggage where they would have a gorilla jumping on like a suitcase.
Oh, that does sound familiar, but I don't quite. Yeah.
It was like behind the wall at the airport.
That's
just
funny.
A gorilla. But you and I would argue, went to one of the weirdest places to get our luggage. We were in Telluride, so we had to fly into Montrose in Colorado, and they are doing airport work. So they basically just had us outside in the snow, and they would just pull up trucks and you never saw your luggage like we got to see the inside of how like a luggage is treated.
It's like when people put like a GoPro, turn it on in their luggage just to see how their bags get treated, and it's just hilarious.
And we got to see it up close, and I felt like that was the first time where I was like, oh wow, you really get to see how manhandled these bags are. And that was also in front of like a live audience as we all are waiting for our bags, and they didn't even like hold back. But I've never had a luggage break. I've never had that. Have you ever?
No, I haven't. I mean, I've had, not in that context. I've had like a wheel break or a handle break or something like that, but I've never had anything get destroyed, as he said.
Well, I want to talk to you about this because I feel like you travel with untraditional large bags. Like, I know we both have our backpacks and stuff like that, but I feel like your large bags are not a traditional suitcase. Or I often don't see them
like my roller bags, you mean?
Yeah. Or am I wrong on that?
No, I mean they are pretty traditional in the sense that like I think we both, because of they were a sponsor on the show, have used the Away bags.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
So I've used those. I also use a roller Rimowa bag that is one of like the hard shell bags.
Yeah.
I like a hard shell.
Me too.
I think more and more because I'm traveling with stuff that I want to be a little bit protected.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think for Chris in
Pennsylvania, PA.
Pennsylvania, I would look at those away bags. And there's another, you know what? There's
away bags are solid. They are solid. I would say the bigger ones, not as good as the smaller ones.
Oh, I don't know about, don't know I only have the carry-on size.
See, I had the big one. And I had that same idea, like, I really want a nice, big, hard shell bag. And I love the away bags. But I got the big one, and I just felt it got banged up a lot. Banged up, not destroyed. And it just wasn't as solid. Now, I'll tell you this.
Go.
June spent a lot of money. And this is a thing that I won't even spend the money on. And, I love bags. She got herself a Toomey bag.
Yeah. Sure.
And that thing... She got the carry-on version of it, but it carries so much. It's almost like a bag made of packing cubes. Like you can kind of open it and do things to it. And I believe Jessica St. Clair also has one that's almost like a dresser, like you pull it up. So you can so I've seen those. I won't spend the money on those, but those are impressive bags.
Yeah, I have a Toomey bag, a roller Toomey bag from that I had for years that started to get a little old, but those are incredibly well-built bags. They are expensive. Like of the ones we're mentioning, like Toomey and Rimowa, these are more expensive bags. But why not?
Get one, you'd be good.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. The idea of you're gonna travel in this, it's gonna get beat up, and luggage is something that it's going to last for a very long time. You know, if you want it to, you can have that piece of luggage for the next 15 years if you buy a Toomey bag, versus some of these other things that are maybe perhaps less expensive it's so funny. You and I just Googled the exact same thing.
Well, I was going to say, because this is, people can't see it, but this is the bag that I have used, because we were talking about and I'm like, what bag do I use that I really like? Yeah. And it's this Travel Pro Platinum Elite 25-inch expandable spinner suitor, which is a bag that I found off of Wirecutter, which is a website we use a lot. And it's not a hard bag, but it is a soft bag that I use. It has a hard back. Case. Yeah, hard back, back and the sides. I love this bag. This Travel Pro, and it's $365 on Amazon. It's great. I am a big, big fan of this bag.
Yeah, these are great bags. Travel Pro, this is a company that's been making roller luggage forever, do you remember when you started to see roller luggage bags that,
oh my God,
that weren't just for pilots? You know what I mean?
That was we lived in a Stone Age.
Yeah. You had I remember I had a suitcase, like a full, long, thin suitcase that had wheels on it. And that made no sense.
With a strap that you might put on like a dog strap. Or something. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. No, I think these are all great options that we're giving. And there's now, I believe, a couple of competitors to the away bag that are also good, that I think also get well reviewed. The only thing I think about that is the idea of durability, lifetime durability, really.
Yes.
I think that's really it. Like this Travel Pro or a Toomey bag, or even some of the bigger, tougher Samsonite bags are going to last perhaps longer than an away bag, maybe.
And what I'll say about my Travel Pro...
I don't know if they're still a sponsor.
No, they aren't, and they haven't been for a while, so you're listening to a very unfiltered opinion here. I will say this. I'm down to replace my Travel Pro every couple of years. I do a lot of traveling, as do you. So that gets a lot, there's something about this $300 bag that if I can get 3 or 4 years out of it, I'm happy to be and then I'll get a new one. I will kind of replace it.
Especially because you travel so much.
Right,
you gotta for people we're on the road, we're doing a lot of dates a year, we're traveling a lot. These bags get destroyed over time,
Yeah, they will just get the wear and tear. I have a handle that was just sticky. Did not know how to fix that. It was just it kind of melted or something.
I've had to get my handles replaced on bags before. And that is, I will say, that's a good thing about a lot of these companies we're talking about is their customer service is very good. So if a wheel breaks off, you can just send it back. They'll send it to you. Like, they'll do those repairs. So that they're interested in your bag lasting a while.
Yes.
There are a lot of now pretty solid gear companies, like Patagonia now has a roller bag. Filson has a roller bag. Mystery Ranch has a roller bag. A lot of like high-end gear companies now make roller bags that are pretty great.
I will buy a bag from anybody. Like, you turned me on to that. The bag that I love is, and I'll forget it, so tell me now, the guy from Mythbusters.
Oh, Adam Savage. Yeah,
Adam Savage's
Adam
bag.
Savage, like the tool bag. Yeah,
that tool bag is it's right here, is one of my favorite bags. And it's like, that's not a travel bag, but like, I believe in anyone to like get a bag, a backpack or a thing like that. I'll buy anything there. But for luggage, I want a company that's been around for a while. I want like, I don't know why I have an old fashioned opinion about it, but I'm like, you should be making bags for a bit.
I want somebody who understands bags.
Yes. I'm like, this is your business.
I understand, and I can appreciate that. It's, that's kind of, a lot of the stuff I love is exactly that. They've been making these bags for years, like the Rimowa luggage, all that kind of stuff. But I get excited when I'm like, ooh, the Mystery Ranch is making one of my favorite backpack companies. They're making if Tom Bin ever made a roller bag, I'd be all over it.
I would get that one. Mystery Ranch, I got to look at that. I'll tell you, the bag that really came in for me recently, and again, it's a backpack, is that Topo bag. I'm loving my Topo backpack.
Topo makes a roller bag now, a soft shell roller bag that is very colorful. They're kind of bold colorways. I haven't seen it in reality. I've just seen it online, so I don't have any experience with it.
If you go to the Denver airport, there's a whole Topo
there's a store there.
And this is the worst thing ever. We were coming back from vacation, and my kids, they both got a stomach virus, but they got it. One of them got it on we were leaving on Saturday. One got it on Thursday. One got it on Saturday. And I was up. They were puking and shitting, and this is, it's wonderful to be a dad. It's
these poor guys.
But when they're just like it's like, oh God, and I'm on my hands and knees, getting everything up. But we were in the airport, and my oldest son had he hadn't puked for a while, but he'd gotten everything out of his system. I knew he'd gotten everything out of his system, and he was like, Dad, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm like, hey, buddy, I know you got nothing in there. I was like, I'll go to the bathroom with you. And, and I'm like, let's go. And then I saw that Topo store. And I was like, and we went, and he's still not feeling good. I'm like, buddy, you know what we should do? Like, let's go look in this Topo store for a second.
We should go look at these pouches, packing cubes, and backpacks.
I literally took, to his credit, he was like, he really liked the store. And I think it took his mind off of his just stomach.
I will say that Topo store was ground zero for a norovirus outbreak.
He was wearing his mask. He was giving, but it was such a funny thing. I was like, I never had seen a Topo store, and I wanted to go in so bad that I took my sick child. I was like, I got it. Like, I've been cleaning puke off the floor for the last 2 nights. I need a moment here to look at some bags, and I couldn't even rest in the store. I was like, a mental note. When I go through Denver again, I'm gonna hit this Topo store. It was such a moment.
That's incredible. That's
so
very funny.
Stupid. All right, so I think we gave him some good examples here.
Yeah, I think in terms of like roller luggage or whatever, I think that's great. If you are in need of a backpack to accompany that, I'll just keep recommending Tom Bin, the Cynic, either of the 2 Cynic bags, depending on how big you need a backpack to be.
My Tom Bin bag, they sent me one of these, and this is not, again, we talk about these bags. People have been very nice. Sometimes they'll send us a bag. I went on just a day trip. I don't really do this. Gus and I went up to San Francisco together.
Oh, wow.
And it was super fun. We went to go see a Warriors game. Yeah, basketball game. And I never had just packed a backpack.
Oh, the best.
And I was like, oh, this is so fun. Like this, and that bag.
Well, your hands free.
Yeah. And it was, I had everything, and that gave me a different appreciation of how roomy that Tom Bin bag is for not only your clothes and your stuff and your toiletries, but also whatever things that you might need on an airplane.
Oh, yeah. And when you can get there, like, Rick Steves, the travel guy, Rick Steves is big on this. When you can get to a point of single bag travel. A bag that will just fit on your back, that you can go that you could take any trip with, a week-long trip, but just with one bag, your hands free. That's the goal.
Well, the only thing that is really holding that up for me is lotions and liquids, whatever I need
Sure.
like, and wires.
Shoes.
Once we
For me, it's shoes.
I forgot about shoes.
You know, if I could get away with having one, but I always want to have a pair of boots, or I always want to have, that's what kills me every time.
I want to have a gym shoe. I want to have
what is actually a great trip is that Tom Bin backpack and the Adam Savage bag.
Oh, that's nice, right? Because you can kind of
that's just those two. Because then you're really like, again, you can put the Adam Savage bag around your body, crossbody,
right,
and you are hands free.
Well, now I'll tell you this. Adam Pally taught me a trick. I was going away for a while, and and that's when you really have to pack a lot of stuff, And Pally told me that what he does is he takes a duffel and just puts all shoes in a duffel. Mm-hmm. And checks that. And that has been great because basically the duffel's small. It won't be a super heavy thing. You may have to pay for an extra bag or whatever. But putting all shoes in a duffel was a life changer for me because then I actually have all my bag space. Yeah. And the duffel was
I think that's very smart.
Yeah, it was a smart little side move.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
All right, this is good. We really gave this person. I mean, look.
Oh, man. Travel chat with Paul and Jason?
I mean, look, people have been asking for it. And I know that you've done, people need to listen to you on Kulap and Suchin's show,
Add to Cart.
Because you really go on a deep dive.
We did a whole episode where I just talked about packing cubes and pouches and travel stuff just like this. The podcast is called Add to Cart. It's Kulop's show, who's been on this show many times, and I'm going to do their live show in May, where we're going to talk about another round of travel stuff.
Well, I'm excited about that, and can I get a little sneak peek of that? Can you talk to me a little bit about what you use for liquids? Because I have yet to find a good, if I'm putting a moisturizer.
What do I put liquids in, or what do I put those things in? Like the liquid itself, like the little tubes?
Well, give me both. Give me let's go both ways. What do you, what tube, do you know what tube brand you use? Or
I mean, I use two different tube brands. Okay. Are they just called Go tubes? They're just those tubes that that you see.
Mine are always leaking. That's what I always have.
Well, okay, so I was just about to say, but I started to have failure on the Human Gear one. Yeah. Okay. The Human Gear, that company, Human Gear. Leave this open actually for a second. So the Human Gear, I like those. But they started to fail on me.
Right.
So I bought a set of the Nalgene ones.
Okay.
I also bought these Matador flat pack that are on this window. Those are great because they are very thin, and when empty, they disappear. They're insignificant, which is great. But they're a little bit of a headache to refill, and clean and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that bothers me a little bit about those. So right now, it's a mixture of the Nalgene, which are bulletproof. Those are great.
Okay.
And the Human Gear ones. And then it depends on how long I'm traveling for.
Yeah.
I have a number of different kinds of DOP kits.
Yeah, I got a few.
The one that I primarily use is the Peak Design one. It opens like a
I believe that this is the one. That's my guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the big one. There's two now. There's a big one and a small one. I have the big one. I use that a lot. There's a couple of other ones. The Bellroy makes one that I've used. Topo has just a dump. A pouch that I've just dumped stuff in sometimes, but mostly I would say 99% of the time I use this. Peak Design.
I like this Peak Design. As somebody who's gone through a lot of DOP kits, the Peak Design has been the one that I have stayed with the longest. And I have no desire to switch it up.
I like all the internal organization.
Yes.
I don't like, especially for a DOP kit, I don't like just a big bucket that you throw everything into.
Yes.
I like having little places that I can put my toothbrush and toothpaste in. It's not mixed with everything else. Like little places that I can put all my little things so I know exactly where to go.
Can I tell you, maybe you told me about this, or maybe I found it myself. What I now have in my DOP kit, what I really like, is I have a small clothing line, like a
Sure. A clothesline. Yeah,
clothesline.
To dry your clothes. Yeah.
Yes, and because that has been a trick on the road or something like that. Like if you're, especially like when I go away with the family, if I have a bathing suit I need to dry or something like that, like to have one of those lines.
Yeah.
That has really been, and it's a nice little plasticky, the elastic thing. That's a no brainer. I like that.
That's a home run, absolutely. Especially because like you can put it someplace where you're going to remember it. Versus if you hang a bunch of stuff in like the shower, I will always forget that.
Oh, 100%. I have to always do an idiot check before I leave a room.
Oh yeah,
because
it's a full twice through.
Yeah, to get through.
Especially because I don't know if you do this. Yeah. I do this though. When I get to hotels, I hide stuff.
You see, we've talked about our ways that we get into our hotels. So you don't trust that your stuff will stay safe, or you want to okay, got it.
No, I hide stuff, and then I forget where I hid it sometimes.
See, sometimes I need to write down stuff if
there isn't a safe, and I have passport and
sure.
I'm gonna hide it someplace so that if somebody comes in and just grabs my backpack and takes off, my stuff isn't in there. You know what I mean?
By the way, if you want to see the June special, what always happens and makes me laugh every single time, June will get all of her stuff in the safe, and guess what? Safe door wide open.
Oh,
never blocks it. Never, everything is in there.
Yeah.
Doors never.
But then it's just that last step really it gets her. Huh?
I look at it all the time. I'm like, June, you want to lock the safe? Like, because you know what? I also, when we're talking about like passports and things like that, or like money, or like a little like things, like small things, I hide too. I hide, and I have little methods and things like that I keep them. But yeah, June will keep that safe door open, and that the reason why I don't use a safe often is because if June goes in there, she'll leave it open, and then they will defeat the purpose of the safe. The other thing that, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about. Well, okay, let me ask you this question. And this is maybe a question we've never talked about, and I've never brought it up publicly. So I am prepared to be shamed. But a big debate between June and I is that when we go away, she and the kids bring a pair of pajamas for every single night that we are away. And
wait, hold on, time out.
Yes.
Different pajamas?
Yes. And I'm like, June, they don't need 7 pairs of pajamas.
Wait, whoa. I need you to, okay, yes. Wait a minute. Can just for clarification, when you're at home, do the boys wear a different set of pajamas every night?
Yes.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so I'm
also not a fan of this.
Got it. Okay, so that makes a little more sense, even though I think it's nonsensical. It makes a little more sense in that it is keeping up their normal routine.
Well, okay. The only reason why there's a routine there is because June's like, no, you never wear pajamas twice. And
what?
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Yeah.
Are they? Oh, wow. Okay. Because, I mean,
this is great for me. I've never brought this up.
Does June do that? Like,
June never wears pajamas. No.
In the chat, do people do, like, because I wear pajamas for, like, and I don't wear pajamas. I wear, like, just a pair of shorts to bed, like a pair of, like, lightweight shorts.
And Molly says
go ahead.
Molly talks about what I did when I was a kid. You put your jammies behind your pillow, and then when you're done, you wear it the next day or something.
Okay, so I would never put my jammies behind my pillow.
I know that would probably when I was growing up, like my grandma used to do that, and that was but yes, I have like a whole line of my own pajamas that are that are sometimes they're shorts, sometimes they're like a pant. I have some comfy shirts that I like, but.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
When you are traveling, now obviously when you're like touring or on the road, this isn't applicable, but how often on the road when you're staying at a hotel or whatever, are you doing laundry at the hotel?
Well, I mean, I'm a laundry fiend. Give me that. Because
I was going to say, because I am too, and that has been one of the ways that I've reduced how much I bring.
Oh, yes.
Because I'm like, I'm just going to send laundry in the middle of this trip, and then I can pack half as much.
You see, that's really smart. I'm never quite sure when I'll be able to do it. And then I'll get on a high horse about, I've got to pay $4 for a fucking pair of socks. Like, I'm then I get angry.
Oh, yeah.
The thing that I learned from a friend of ours and a friend of the pod, I won't name him because I don't know if he wants me to say this. It's not even that scandalous. But I used to itemize all those things. And he was like, why are you doing that? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you got to itemize. He's like, no, throw all that shit in the bag. They do that for you. And since then.
Wait, what?
Like, you just put all that shit, like whatever you want in the bag, and they itemize it for you, and then they give it back to you. And I've never itemized since then, and it all comes back, and it's perfectly done. And I'm like,
whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting. I mean, I do it, and it always stresses me out because I'm like, oh no, I put all the check marks in the wrong column,
100%.
And oh no, and then I'm trying to tally it up.
Well,
I'm like, okay, that's 2 underwears.
Yeah, I was expressing this frustration why I didn't do laundry in hotels, and he's like, what do you mean?
Oh,
and
that's
I was like,
funny.
He's like, just put all the shit in the bag.
All right, I'll try it.
Because they're not washing your stuff. They're not washing your stuff with anybody else's. So when they're
I agree. Yeah.
So they're but anyway, so we got that. The pajamas every night, like that to me,
that's crazy.
Crazy.
That feels like an enormous amount of space being taken up with.
That's what I'm saying.
An unnecessary amount of pajamas.
Well,
if you're going away for a week,
that's 14 pairs of
You only need 1 pair of pajamas for a week, and you wash them midweek.
Yeah, and so I'm talking about this. So you go okay, so kids are wearing. So I have 2 kids. Each have 7 sets of pajamas. So that's 14.
This is crazy. This is a T-shirt. Well, can we make a T-shirt that just says 7 sets of pajamas?
I mean, this is the battles that I get into with June, because June and I were raised in different ways, and there's a certain part of me that I will refuse to fight these battles anymore. But when she looks at me and says, no one ever wears their pajamas more than once.
Wow.
I was like, that's like Tobey Maguire doesn't wear an underwear more than once kind of like lifestyle that I can't.
Wait, what is that?
Oh, this is a whole thing. This is, and I think publicly known.
I love this.
Tobey Maguire never wears the same pair of underwear twice.
He treats underwear as if they're disposable.
Yes. He's like, it's too gross. And then apparently that is something that a lot of people share. And they're like, oh, yeah. No, I don't wear my underwear twice. And then I offered up offered up here to Last Looks. I was like, can someone do the math on this? Can we figure out how much a year are we spending in underwear? And if you buy it in bulk, is it a better thing? I don't know.
And you've got to figure that Tobey Maguire is not like, or maybe he is because it's disposable. I was going to say, you've got to assume he's buying nice underwear. He's not just buying like, Fruit of the Loom cotton briefs in a 12-pack, or is he?
See, that's my thought. He might be because it's the one wear. It's one and done. So in that way, whip them on, whip them off. That might be the best way to wear Fruit of the Loom. The elasticity is great.
I wonder that's an interesting, I'm so suggestible. I feel like in 2 years, I'm going to be like, remember when you told me that Tobey Maguire thing? I'm doing it. I feel like
I found the right
thing. It could be so
I bought
easy.
The right bulk.
Yeah, it could be so easy for me to tip into that where I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I order 500 pairs of underwear from like Tommy John at a time.
Oh, here. So 72 pairs of, this is from Shane Ludke, saying 72 pairs for $144 or $730 per year based on cheap underwear. Okay, so that, we don't know what brand that is.
Let's say that Tobey Maguire is probably spending, if he's getting nicer than that underwear, he's probably spending upwards of $2,000 a year in underwear, which for
is
him
nothing, a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, for Spider-Man is a nothing.
And those are Gildan boxer briefs, and I'll say that Gildan makes good stuff.
Listen, when Maguire is concerned, when it comes to underwear, he plays by Cider House rules.
Oh, here, you can buy it. You can actually buy it in. I'm
so sorry, Paul, but the chat window for this underwear site would like to know if you need any help.
Hey, I'm looking. I give more than 72 pieces of underwear.
What a creep! What a creep! This AI chat. Hello, as we're looking at underwear. Hey, would you like to talk about our products?
By the way, $2 a pair. I wouldn't
see. I feel like that would make $2 a pair. I'm like, oh, that's going to give me a rash.
Right. I mean, look,
Allegedly.
Gildan, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm going to also say if you wear it once. But here's the other thing. Would you wear underwear right out of the package?
Never. Oh, no. I would. But here's the thing. I don't wear anything out of the package. I wash everything that arrives. If I get a new
jeans?
No. Never jeans. Never. I'm sorry. That's a good point. No. I mean, like,
what are you doing with jeans? Are you doing anything with jeans? Are you putting them in the freezer? Okay.
I'll put them in the freezer. Or I'll spot wash them if I spill something you know what I mean, something like that. Sometimes I will do I'll soak them in the tub. Okay. And then hang them dry. Yeah. But no, I never wash them. But truthfully, I don't do much. You know.
Yeah. I know that's what I feel. And sometimes I'm like, is that bad? But now I'm like, no, I think that's the way they're supposed to be.
I think that's pretty. If you as long as you're not living like a monster and like Tobey Maguire just shitting up the jeans. I don't know what he's up to.
I mean, look, it seems to me like June wearing different pajamas every night. Something is built into you as a child.
Yes,
where you're like, or you have built into something where you're like, and this is it. This is like my idea of fame is blank. My idea of I will never. There's something switched, and that's where you live now, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I think you're right. It is very related to how you grew up, because when I grew up, pajamas were not even really a thing after I was a little kid.
Yeah, no.
I didn't have pajamas into my adolescence or young adulthood.
The only real difference, like my pajamas have always been a pair of like gym shorts and a t-shirt. Right?
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Now, where I've expanded is when it gets in the colder months, I have like a pair of like longer, like a comfy pants, like a loungy pant that I might wear. And often that's really a basis of just like running around with the kids. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to just be in my short shorts,
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's all it is. And it's not matching t-shirts. And sometimes you'll find these really comfy shirts. And I got a nice collection of like comfy shirts.
Every once in a while, like I will see a pair of like pajamas, like proper pajamas that look great, or somebody once gifted me a pair of pajamas that were really, very nice, fancy pajamas. I cannot sleep in pajamas. I wake myself up because I'm like all twisted and turned in the pajamas. I feel trapped in them,
I like the idea of it. Somebody has really told me that these pajamas made by Lake pajamas are supposed to be fantastic. June has a pair of Lake pajamas. I read an article about Lake pajamas. But I think for men, I feel the same way. When I'm putting on when I'm buttoning it down and I look like I'm in a Dickens Christmas Carol or something like that, I don't like a button down shirt. I want to wear.
You know what I could get on board for though? A giant long sleep shirt.
I could do that.
I feel like I could do a sleep shirt that's like goes to my knees.
I like that's kind of like that old school. Like I feel like girls used to wear that, or that was like the way that I say,
sleep shirt is the way you just described Dickens. I'm picturing like a Scrooge level.
Does anyone have sleep shirts? Let's get some. I thought you were going to wear a sleep hat, and I was like, maybe.
Oh wow, that would be interesting. No, a sleep shirt would be very interesting to me because I feel like I'd probably still get twisted and turned in it.
One of the I did this. I produced a show with a Lonely Island called Party Over Here, and it was
so funny.
It was so fun, and we had a great time. And Nick Weiger and Jessica McKenna wrote this sketch, or I don't want to misname it.
Nick Weiger from the Doughboys, Jess McKenna from Off Book, rather.
Off Book, so funny. Or maybe Heather Campbell wrote. I don't know. Heather Campbell, great from How Did This Get Played? Anyway. Great people wrote this.
Murderers Row on that show.
Yeah, just hilarious people. And we were told when we made the show that we couldn't have any sketch over 30 seconds over 60 seconds, which really dinged us because we had to cut all of our sketches down. Yeah. So we had to do 2 best of episodes in our first season because
my God.
We didn't have enough material because of all that. But we still managed to get some really funny stuff through. And I still think in the 60 seconds, it would have been great if we just had a little bit more air.
Wow.
But there was one sketch that Jess did that I loved. It was the premise was she worked at Vice and she's like, "What's up, everybody? I'm from Vice and this is the newest shirt." And the shirt was so big and she was showing how big the shirt was. And so she goes into it and she could never get out of it because the shirt was literally like the size of the stage that we performed on. So she was constantly crawling through the shirt trying to find the head hole. And it was, The visual of that still makes me laugh. It's so funny. And the benefit of that is you can never see it because Fox eliminates it from every anything.
What a mess. What a fucking mess.
It's so stupid. Why? Why are we taking it down? Anyway, Jason, we answered a question. I think we should do this again. We got great phone calls. Keep on calling us, and we'll wrap this one up, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Jason. In place of Paul's helpline, Jason and I will continue to answer listener calls from time to time on Just Chat. So if you want advice from Jason and I, then give us a call at 619-PAUL-ASK. And to all of you singer-songwriters out there, send us those songs at howdthisgetmade at earwolf.com. Now that we got View from the Top out of the way, let's talk about next week's movie. We are going from Mike Myers to bike tires. Yeah, you heard me. That's right. We are watching the 2004 motorcycle action movie Torque, starring Martin Henderson, Ice Cube, Jamie Presley, and How Did This Get Made all-star Adam Scott. Here is a short breakdown of the plot. A biker returns from Thailand to set things straight with his girlfriend, but he's framed by a rival biker gang for the murder of another gang member's brother. Boom. Complicated? Yes. Get it? You have to, unless you've been hit in the head multiple times with a steel pipe or choked out by a motorcycle chain, which actually happens in this movie. Rotten Tomatoes gives Torque a 22% on the tomato meter, and Sheila Johnston from the London Evening Standard says, shot like a feature-length commercial, Torque is as bright and shiny and inconsequential as a chrome hubcap. Ooh, nasty, Sheila. Listen to the trailer.
A world of speed. A game of risk.
I can smash you right now.
A man of action.
You ain't gonna like how this ends.
On January 16th.
Whoa.
The only way to survive.
I'm on his head by midnight.
This just keeps getting better and better.
Is to break every rule. Torque.
You messed with the wrong chick! Looks like you did.
Rated PG-13.
You can rent Torque on Apple TV, Prime Video, YouTube, or Google Play. I encourage you to check out Hoopla or Canopy, which are digital media services offered by your local public library that allow you to consume movies, TV, books, everything, comics for free. That is it for the show. Please remember to rate and review us. It helps. And if you listen on Apple Podcasts, make sure you are following us. Visit us on social media at HDTGM for commercial-free access to How Did This Get Made in our entire archive and so much more. Sign up for Stitcher Premium for a free 1-month trial using the code BONKERS. And a big thanks to our producers, Scott Sonny, Molly Reynolds, our movie-picking producer, Avril Halley, our engineer, Alex Gonzalez, our publisher, July Diaz, and Jess Cisneros, who makes our amazing social media videos. We will see you next week for Torque. But before we go, I thought I would share with you a bonus deleted scene from our View from the Top episode.
It also seemed like Cleveland and Nevada, no offense to Cleveland, but are so similar to me. Like both of those periods of her journey felt similar, felt the same, stakes wise, you know? Right. And I was like, I'm not sure why we're still playing this. I don't understand why we're here.
Well, we're here for the intrigue. We're here for the like. This is what I was talking about with Stanley Kubrick. We're here to see what does it take to become a steward
in this movie.
Well, they are the air militia. They're protecting us. They are the only people keeping us in the sky from our own devices. We would go crazy, open up doors. They're up there protecting our skies.
Are you suggesting that the flight attendants and pilots are a loosely militarized private militia?
It's what, look on the dark web, you'll see it. People don't want to admit it. It's right in front of our faces, people.
I do believe,
Paul's
Paul,
background
like, if
is
we
the
were,
dark web.
No, I think Paul's right, actually. Like, I've thought this through sometimes up in the sky. Like, if shit were to go down up there. Yeah, we would all get in order behind Christina Applegate, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, yeah.
And we would. Like, yes,
You'd
absolutely.
have to. Absolutely.